What would hurt you more, being attacked by an enemy, or discovering the person who destroyed your life was someone you once called brother? Most people fear strangers, but history tells a different story. Some of the deepest betrayals come from people we trust the most, and few stories demonstrate that better than the story of Thomas Sankara, a man admired across Africa, a leader who inspired millions, a president who spoke about dignity, self-reliance, and change. But before he became famous, before the speeches, before the revolution, there was friendship, the kind of friendship that seemed unbreakable. Thomas Sankara and Blaise Compaoré were young military officers with similar dreams. They trained together, served together, shared ambitions for their country. Many people saw them as brothers, not political allies. Brothers, the sort of bond that makes people believe nothing could ever come between them. Years later, Sankara rose to power. In 1983, he became president of Burkina Faso, and almost immediately, he began challenging the way things were done. He reduced government privileges, encouraged local production, promoted public health campaigns, spoke against corruption. To many ordinary citizens, he represented hope. But change creates resistance. Every reform produces people who benefit, and people who lose influence. As Sankara's popularity grew, so did the pressure around him. Political pressure, economic pressure, international pressure, and somewhere within all that pressure, questions began emerging about relationships inside the leadership itself. From the outside, everything appeared normal. The revolution continued, the speeches continued, the friendship appeared intact. But appearances can be deceptive. History is filled with relationships that looked strongest right before they collapsed. Then came October 15, 1987, a date that would permanently change African history. That afternoon, Thomas Sankara attended a meeting. Nothing suggested it would be his final day alive. There were no public warnings, no dramatic confrontations, no indication that history was about to take a violent turn. Then gunfire erupted. When it was over, Thomas Sankara was dead. Several others had died alongside him. The president was gone. Just like that, shock spread across the country. Supporters struggled to process the news. How could something like this happen? Who organized it? Who planned it? Who stood to gain? And then another detail intensified the mystery. Blaise Compaoré became the country's new leader. For many observers, the questions became impossible to ignore. Was this simply a transfer of power? A political struggle? A betrayal? Or something more complicated? Over the years, theories multiplied. Some suspected internal rivalries. Others believed external forces may have had interests in the outcome. Rumors spread. Stories circulated. Accusations surfaced. Yet certainty remained elusive. And that uncertainty became part of the mystery itself. Decades passed, but Thomas Sankara's name never disappeared. New generations discovered his speeches. Supporters continued discussing his ideas. Historians continued examining the events surrounding his death. Investigations eventually revisited the case. Witnesses spoke. Evidence was reviewed. Legal proceedings sought answers. Yet for many people, one question remained emotionally unresolved. How does a friendship reach a point where trust collapses completely? Because beneath the politics, beneath the history, beneath the investigations, there is a deeply human story. A story about loyalty, about ambition, about power, about relationships changing in ways outsiders cannot see. And perhaps that is why this mystery still resonates. Not because people are fascinated by politics, but because everyone understands trust. Everyone understands friendship. Everyone understands what it feels like to believe someone is on your side. And everyone understands how devastating betrayal can be. Today, Thomas Sankara remains one of Africa's most remembered leaders. His ideas continue to inspire discussions across the continent. His life continues to be studied, and the circumstances surrounding his death continue to raise questions. Questions about power, questions about loyalty, questions about what really happened behind closed doors. But perhaps the most haunting question is also the simplest. At what moment does a friend stop being a friend? Because sometimes, the people who stand closest to us are the ones we understand the least. And sometimes, history's greatest mysteries begin with trust. History is not old. History is living inside us. One day, one event, one lesson. Mr. Fidi,